Hello, this is Anthony with BBSN, and we are here to kick off one of our two side projects, the other being the Ferguson Jenkins 1969 payoff pitch replay. And of course, our channel's main project currently is the 1922 St. Louis Browns time machine replay. And this project will be the Satchel Paige Memorial Barnstorming project. And basically this project consists of a team of Negro League Hall of Famers, the Ebony Elites, and they will play 5-game series against 5 other teams made up of Hall of Famers. Those other 5 teams are the National League Pastime Legends, which, and again, my opinion, consists of the greatest Hall of Fame players that played in the National League. The American League Hall of Fame Diamond Kings, similar, the greatest American League Hall of Famers, and again, this man's opinion. The other teams include the Victorian Wonders, which is a team of Hall of Famers who played the majority of or all of their careers prior to 1900. The 70s All-Star team, which is, as the name applies, the 70s stars played the majority of their careers or are best known for playing in the 70s. And finally, the 5th team here, the Cooperstown Misfits, and this team is comprised of kind of a best of the rest Hall of Famers that are not on any of the other teams. And as you will see, there are some very good ball players still on this team. And with that, we will get straight to the starting lineups. For Satchel Paige's team, the Ebony Elites, Cool Papa Bell leads it off. He'll play right field. Oscar Charleston bats second, and he'll be in center. First baseman Mule Suttles will bat third. Josh Gibson, the catcher, will hit fourth. Turkey Stearns bats fifth. He's the left fielder. Third baseman Judy Johnson bats sixth. Buck Leonard, the designated hitter, and with so many great bats, I know it's blasphemous, but I just had to go with the designated hitter in this project to get an extra Hall of Fame bat in the lineup. Pop Lloyd will play second, and he will bat eighth, and Willie Wells will be at short for the Ebony Elites and bats ninth. And the namesake of this project, Satchel Paige, is the ace of the team, will be on the mound in this game. For the Cooperstown Misfits, a very strong outfield. Center fielder Tris Speaker will lead it off. Harry Hillman bats second. He'll be in right field. The left fielder Al Bucketfoot Simmons bats third. Hank Greenberg will bat cleanup and be at first. The Mickey Mantle, will be designated hitter, hitting fifth. Charlie Gehringer will be at second base, batting sixth. Batting seventh, the catcher Roy Campanella. Third baseman George Kell in the eighth spot. And Aches and Pains Luke Appling at short will bat ninth. And on the hill for the Cooperstown Misfits, the intense one, Bob Gibson. So lineups in place, and Gibson is on the hill and ready to go. And Cool Papa Bell set to lead this one off for us. So let's roll. And 5 and an 8 against a righty. I'm sorry, I'd be a lefty. Papa Bell is a switch hitter. That's a fly out to center field, one down. Oscar Charleston up, center fielder. And 4-2, that's going to be a walk. And this team will run, and they are very good at it. So 2-6 or an 11, and Charleston will try and steal. He does not get the jump, so he will stay put. Mule Suttles up. And 4-2 again, and this one, though, is righty against righty matchup. That's a ground ball down to shortstop. Appling has it to Gehringer, and over to first base, the 6-4-3 double play. So nobody left. The Ebony Elites get a walk, and we go to the bottom of the first inning, no score. Satchel Paige set to face the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker, a great player with the Red Sox and Indians. Played up through 1927, and a 3 and a 9 against the right-hander. That's going to be a single for Spoke. So Speaker on at first base, and he is also a threat to go. 2-5 or 11 and 12, and he does not get a jump. and probably actually do not want to run. Well, Gibson, their steel adjustment will be a -3, and Campanella, who's behind the plate for the Cooperstown Misfits, excellent gun, and Gibson good at holding, so -5 adjustment for the Ebony Elites. Runner on first for Harry Hillman, and 1 and a 3 against the right-hander. That's going to be a ground ball to first base. It's going to move Speaker along to second. 3 unassisted there on the put out for Suttles, 1 down. And Al Bucketfoot Simmons, very unique batting stance as indicated by the name. And 6 and a 5, and that's going to be on Paige's card. Struck him out, so Satch rocks and fires, blows the fastball by him, 2 down. Paint Greenberg up. 3 and an 8, and Greenberg's going to draw a walk. It's going to put runners on first and second now, 2 outs. Mickey Mantle up. And Mantle digging in against Paige. Dream matchup, 2-7. And Mantle draws a base on balls, and Satch has loaded the bases here. 2 outs in the first inning, and Charlie Gehringer up. And Gehringer had a little bit of pop. 3 and a 4, and Gehringer split chance, and this ball is driven deep and going to be off the top of the wall, but when the dust settles, Gehringer is going to come all the way around to third base in a bases clearing triple. Speaker comes in, followed by Greenberg and Mantle. So Gehringer, 3 RBI triple, and that gets the Cooperstown Misfits off to a quick 3-0 lead, and Paige does not know what hit him. Campanella up now, and 5 and a 12 from Satch. That's going to be a ground ball down to first base. And Suttles is a 4. I did not have a 4 and a 16. Did not have the best of the players in there. And he's going to get to that. And 16 with a 14. And Suttles will make the play and get out of the inning. But the Cooperstown Misfits come up with 3 runs on 2 hits, draw a couple of walks, and after 1 inning, Cooperstown Misfits 3, Ebony Elites 0. So right away, a little bit of a hole for Satch's boys to dig their way out of. And Josh Gibson's going to start it off against Bob. 1 and a 6, and Josh gets a hold of that one, and it's going to be a double. So first hit of the game for the Ebony Elites. Josh Gibson down at second base. Gibson set to face Turkey Stearns, a left-hander. And 5 and a 3, and that's going to be a ballpark single. And again, this game has been played, I probably didn't say this at the beginning, but played in 1917 or 2017 Fenway Park. So 1-19 is going to be the single there. And gets it. And Josh, a roll of 14. And in right field, we have an arm of +1 for Hillman, so that's a 15. And Josh Gibson's going to try and come around to score. Hillman fires and does not get it there in time. So the Ebony Elites break on the board on a run-scoring single by Turkey Stearns. And Judy Johnson up the third sacker. 3 and an 8, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and that's going to be another 6-4-3 double play. So 2 down now after the Ebony Elites break out and get a run. Buck Leonard up, first baseman, and 3 and a 2. That's going to be a line out to second. Gehringer puts that away. So that ends the top of the second, but Satchel's boys do get on the scoreboard. We head to the bottom of the second, score 3-1, Cooperstown Misfits in front. And set to lead it off for the Misfits is George Kell. And 2-9 against the righty. That's going to be a split chance. And that's another triple. So Kell drives that into the gap and gets to third base before the throw can be returned to the infield. Brings up old aches and pains Luke Appling, infield not in. 4 and a 7 against the righty, and that's going to be a single right back up. I'm sorry, yep, 4 and a 7 up the middle. So Appling drives in a run, and that makes it 4-1. Back to the top of the order. And Appling is not going to consider trying to steal here as Tris Speaker steps in, the Gray Eagle. Singled and scored his first time up, 1 and an 8, and that's going to be a walk. So Paige in trouble early here. He's struggled. No activity yet in the Elite's bullpen. And 4 and an 8 against the righty, and that is going to be a skinny single. And instead, that'll be a line out to Judy Johnson, so 1 down. Runners on first and second still. Bucket foot Al Simmons up. 2-11, and that is going to be a potential single again. And he gets it single, runners advance 1. So the sacks are loaded. And I'm stuck in basic mindset. I have neglected to roll the 1d20 before each at bat. So now I know. Sorry, it's going to be tough getting out of that mindset. Nothing there. Here we go. Greenberg. 6-11 against the righty. That's going to be a fly ball to right field. And out there is Cool Papa Bell. He is a 1. So 9, he's going to get to that easily. And E rating of 10. 10 with a 13. And he's going to make the play there. And that is going to bring the run home from third base, however. So sac fly and Appling comes home. RBI for Greenberg, 2 down, and it's now 5-0 Misfits. Mickey Mantle up, and 4 and a 6, and Mickey the switch hitter will be against the lefty, and that is a skinny double. And not quite there, that's a fly out, and Papa Bell is going to run that down. But 2 more runs and 3 more hits for the Cooperstown Misfits, and through 2, it is 5-1. And this one is starting to get ugly quick. And somewhat of a surprise. So Pop Lloyd set to lead it off against Big Bob Gibson, and here comes a throw against the lefty, 4 and an 8, strikeout. So 1 down, and Willie Wells up. Willie Wells has some pop from the 9th hole in this batting order. And 5 and a 9 against the right-hander. That's going to be another strikeout. So Gibby throwing BBs now, rings him up back to the top of the order. Cool Papa Bell made a nice defensive play to end the last inning. 1 and a 9, and the switch hitter Bell, he's going to pop that up to first base. So under that is Greenberg, and 3 up, 3 down. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Misfits 5, Elites 1. And Satchel Paige, another rough inning. We'll probably see some bullpen activity. 6 and 3 against the lefty. That's going to be a fly ball to left field. And controlling left, Turkey Stearns is a 1. And that is going to be a roll again, probably. Oh, no, my bad, he gets to it. So Stearns gets to it, and he is a 7. So 7 and 8, and that is going to be a put out, 1 down. Campy Campanella, here we go. That's Campanera, sorry, Roy Campanella. 3 and a 9, Satchel Paige against the right-hander. Campanella, it's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. 6-3 on the put out there. Wells over to Suttles. And 2 away. So Paige settling down now. George Kell steps in. Kell tripled his first time up and later scored. And 6 and a 7 against the righty. It's going to be a fly ball to right field, and that ends the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Misfits. So we are through 3 innings. It's Cooperstown Misfits 5, Ebony Elites 1. And somewhat of a minor surprise here. Though again, as you can see in the Misfits lineup, they're not exactly scrubs. They have a very powerful lineup, especially the outfield. 2 and a 9, Bob Gibson to Oscar Charleston, and Charleston's going to strike out. That's 3 of the last 4 that Gibby has fanned, 1 down. First baseman Mule Suttles, 3 and a 5, and Suttles going to ground it down to shortstop, and up with that is Appling, whips it over to Greenberg, 2 down. Josh Gibson, known as the Black Babe Ruth, steps in, and 1 and a 5 against the righty. And Gibson, no doubt about that, that is gone. Neil Armstrong needs a mitt because that is a moonshot, and it's 5-2. Solo home run, a monster shot by Gibby over the left field wall. The other Gibby, Gibby against Gibby. So 2 down, Turkey Stearns up. Gibson kicks, delivers, and 3 and a 9, and it's going to be a ground ball to second base. Gehringer up with it. Whips that over to Greenberg, and the inning is over. But the Elites strike back on a monster solo shot by Josh Gibson. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning now, 5-2. Satch back on the mound to face Luke Appling. And 3 and a 5, and Appling is going to draw the walk. And Satch has kind of been riddled with the wildness bug here. That is now his 4th walk on the day. Back to the top of the order, and Appling is not going to try and steal. The Gray Eagle, Chris Speaker up. Here comes a pitch from Paige, and 3 and an 8, and that's going to be a walk as well. And Satch just cannot find the plate, and that is going to be enough. At this point, they are going to get, appropriately enough, the father of Negro League Baseball, Rube Foster, is going to start warming up in the Ebony Elites bullpen. Runners on 1st and 2nd now, nobody out. Harry Hillman up, and out of there. Hillman the pitch. And 6 and a 2, Paige against the right hand. That's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And up with that is Wells to Pop Lloyd over to Mule Suttles. 6-4-3 double play. Over to 3rd goes Appling, and 2 down. So that was huge for Satch. Runner on 3rd base now. Bucket foot Al Simmons up. 3 and a 10, and Simmons, ballpark home run. He is a righty, and in Fenway, though, he needs a 9, 1-9. And got it, Simmons over the Green Monster, a 2-run shot, and it is now 7-2. Just scrapes that over the wall. So Al Simmons, two-run home run, and this will be Satchel Paige's last batter. Hank Greenberg steps in. They're just going to town on Paige, and 3 and a 7, a walk, and that's going to be it for Satch. That is a disappointing outing. 3 2/3 innings. Wow. And Satchel gave up 6 hits, but at this point on the hook for 7 runs. The runner on base is his liability as well. And wildness did him in. Six walks on the day. That's crazy. 6 walks, 1 strikeout, and a single home run. So coming on will be Rube Foster. And Paige's hold rating was 0, and Foster So that will not change the caught stealing adjustment. So rough day for Paige. He is done. And runner on first is Greenberg. Mickey Mantle up now. And Foster gets ready to face him. And that is a 2 and a 7. And Mickey against the right-hander. And he's going to draw the walk. So it does not get any better. That is going to quickly become the storyline of this one. The inability for the Ebony Elites to throw strikes. 2 and a 5, Geringer against the right-hander, and that is going to be a single runner's advance 2. So the carnage continues, and that does close the book on Satchel Paige, at least, as Greenberg comes in to score. Paige charged with 8 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Who'd have thunk that? Roy Campanella up now, runners at the corners. And 6 and a 5, Foster to the right-hander, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And down there is Willie Wells. He is a 2. 2 and a 22, so 8, he gets to that. And 22 and a 12 at short. And makes the play, and mercifully the inning is over. But 3 more runs come across, and that is on only 2 hits, as again, walks absolutely killed this team. So we head to the 5th inning. Our score, Cooperstown Misfits 8, Ebony Elites 2. And set to lead it off for the Elites is Judy Johnson. He steps in against Bob Gibson, who has a very comfortable lead, 3 and an 8. And if you watched Cards and Dice Bob Gibson replay, you know he did not get this kind of run support in his 1968 replay. So he is loving this. Check out that great channel, by the way. Just finished the Bob Gibson project and looking forward to what he has up next. So 3 and an 8 for Judy Johnson against Gibby, and that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Appling takes care of that on 1 down. Buck Leonard being the designated hitter today, and 2 and a 3, and that's going to be a walk. So that's Gibby's 3rd walk of the day. And trailing 8 to 2, we're not going to have any stealing shenanigans. 2 and 11, Pop Lloyd against the righty, and that is going to be a ground ball down to first base. That'll move the runner along to second. So runner in scoring position, 2 outs now for Willie Wells, shortstop. And 1 and a 9 for Wells, and that's a ground ball down to short. Appling has been fairly busy today, whips it over to first base. So no hits, no runs, no errors, 1 runner left. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, and still 8 to 2 Misfits over the Elites. And between innings here, let me give a shout out to some other great friends of the channel. Al, Red Sox fan, who does a variety of things, does some title bout, currently playing some computer Strat-O-Matic, which he incorporates physical roles with the computer game. Out of the Part 19, and also had a very fun and interesting fireside chat with Al, if you will, the other night. So give his channel a look. Good stuff going on there as Rube Foster gets set to face George Kell. And 2 and a 6 for Kell. And that is going to be another base on balls. This, I know this pitching staff is not wild, so obviously this squad is very adept at, nothing on 1.20, very adept at drawing walks. So 5 and a 9 to the righty, and that is going to be a split triple single, and that'll be a single runner's advance 2. So they are not taking the foot off the gas pedal here, and I do not blame them. This lineup they're facing, the Elites lineup, is extremely powerful. Back to the top of the order, Tris Speaker, 3 and a 9. And Speaker has been all on that column all day. And that's a run-scoring single. Runners advance 2. So that makes it 9-2, Cooperstown Misfits. And they're making a case, some of them, for not being included in one of the 2 top-tier AL or NL All-Star teams. Probably a little bit of a chip on the shoulder there. 5 and 11 to Heelman, and that is going to be a potential ballpark single to center field. And that is in there. So that is going to bring Appling home. And out in center field, Charleston has a -1 arm, and Speaker is 1-17, so that'll be 16. He's going to try and go to third, and he's in there. And Heelman with the run-scoring single. And double digits for the Misfits now, 10-2 as Al Simmons steps in. And 2, we have a potential, that's a potential pass ball. And for Josh Gibson, his pass ball is 6. Ugh. And manages to make the play. So at-bat continues, and a 4 and a 6 to Simmons, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. It'll be the second out, but that's going to bring yet another run home as Speaker comes in to score. So sac fly, 11-2, and 2 outs now as Hank Greenberg comes up. Runner on first base, he'll stay put. 4 and 11, and against the right-hander, that is going to be a split chance. And single runners advance 1. So they are just pouring it on here, the Misfits are. Mickey Mantle comes in, runners on first and second. Comes a pitch from Rube Foster, 6 and a 5, and it'll be to the lefty this time. It's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And Wells is 2 and 22. So gets to that, and 22 and a 17. And that's going to be an E2. So E6 on that. And Heelman comes around to score. Greenberg over to third, and Mantle ends up at second. And it is now 12-2. And that run will be unearned. This is an offensive onslaught. Nothing there. And here we go. 3 and a 5. Gehringer against Foster. And that is going to be really not that funny. That's going to be a double, and 2 more runs are going to come across, both unearned. As Mantle and Greenberg score. Gehringer 2 RBI double. We're going to have plenty of folks to pick from for player of the game today. And Leon Day is going to get busy now down in the Ebony Elites pen, as they now have 6 runs in this inning. It is 14-2. Campy Campanella up. Gehringer at second base. Campy is the 9th hitter to bat in this inning. And 6 and a 7 to the righty, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Possible E-check. Lloyd is a 216. So 19 gets to it, and 16 with a 17. And that is going to be another error, 1 base error this time. So Gehringer, he will stop at third base. And they are just falling apart. 2 errors in the inning, and Kell represents, he led the inning off, so the 10th batter in this inning. Absolutely crazy. Runners at the corners here. Foster trying to get out of this, and 1 and a 9 for Kell, and mercifully back to the pitcher. tosses it over to first base, 1-3. And the inning is over, but the Cooperstown Misfits tally 6 more runs on 4 hits. Again, more walks, a couple errors. Actually 5 hits, 2 errors, and a walk. So through 5 innings, Cooperstown Misfits 14, Ebony Elites 2. And we'll just end Foster's day there. Leon Day will be the next pitcher. And Day, and their steal adjustment rate, not that they're going to try now, will move to -5. I don't think they will be running with this score line. But Bob Gibson out to start the 6th, and again, very happy with all this run support he is receiving. 3 and a 6, Cool Papa Bell. And Bell going to get on base with a single there. And they just need to make anything happen at this point. So Bell, 4 and a 6 to try and steal, or 4-2-6, doesn't get it. So not going with a bad jump. Oscar Charleston up. 1 and an 8, and Charleston against Gibson, and that is going to be a base hit. And that's a double. Runners advance 2, so over to third goes Bell. And a little bit of life here for the Elites. 2 runners on, nobody out, and that brings up Mule Suttles. Josh Gibson on deck. 6 and a 9 to the righty for Gibby, and struck him out. Ring him up. 1 down. He says your credit is no good here as Josh Gibson steps up, and potential wild pitch. And Gibson is a 6, and he uncorks a wild pitch. So Bell comes in to score, and over to third goes Charleston. Gibson now, the at-bat, 1 and a 5 against his namesake on the mound, and Josh has his 2nd home run of the day, and another one, no doubter. That's going to be a 2-run shot. So one bright spot for this elite team is Josh Gibson, who is now 3 for 3, 2 home runs and a double, scored 3 times and has 3 runs driven in, living up to every single ounce of the hype. And 1 down for Turkey Stearns. 2 and a 9 to Stearns, ground ball down to second base. Garinger up with it, whips it over to Greenberg, 2 away. Judy Johnson up. 2 and a 5 and Johnson with a single. And he is not going to try and steal. Buck forgot the 20 again, and before I do that, and that will be a potential pass ball, and Campanella, he needs a 1 or a 2 for that to happen. Nope. So at bat continues. Leonard, 6 and a 2, Gibby against the lefty, and that's going to be a split single chance, and that's in there. And Johnson with 2 out, 1 to 17, and that is to center field, and Spoke has a -1, so there'd be 1 to 16. He's going to go to third, makes it. They really have absolutely 0 to lose at this point. So runners at the corner for Pop Lloyd. And 2 and an 8 to Lloyd, and Lloyd pops it up to Garinger, and that ends the inning. But they claw back to make it a little bit more respectable. 3 runs on 5 hits. And we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our score, Cooperstown Misfits 14, Ebony Elites 5. And Leon Day on the hill now for the Elites. He'll face Luke Appling. And in the Misfits bullpen, despite the big league, Bob Lemon is going to loosen up down there. Leon Day comes home. Appling 6 and a 6, and that is going to be a split. And fly out to left field. One down, back to the top of the order for Speaker. And Speaker, he has been on base every time. 2 walks, 2 singles. Here comes a pitch from Day, 5 and a 10. And that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And again, 2 and a 22. He gets to it. And 22 and 13. And Wells is going to make the play. 6-3 on the put out there, 2 down. Harry Hillman up now. Hillman has had probably the least productive day. He's only 1 for 4. Runs scored, RBI, and there go Duke and Daisy. And 4 and a 7. And that's going to be a walk. So 2 out walk for Hillman. That brings up Al Simmons. And here comes a pitch home. 1 and 7 to Simmons against the right-hander. And it's going to be a fly out to center field. And Charleston puts that away. So no runs, no hits, no errors. They leave a runner. We are through 6. 14-5. The Cooperstown Misfits lead it over the Ebony Elites. And Gibson remains on the mound. He will face Willie Wells to lead it off. 4 and a 9 to the right-hander, and that's going to be a potential single. Nope. Line drive to third base, and a nice play by Kell, 1 down. Back to the top of the order for Cool Papa Bell. Comes a pitch, 4 and a 9, and the switch hitter. Single over a line out, and Bell gets his second hit of the day, second consecutive single. And he is not going to try and steal. 1 down, and Oscar Charleston up, 2 and an 8. Charleston struck him out, so Gibson blows the heat by him. Intimidating and imposing figure on the mound, Gibby. Not to be trifled with. Mule settles up, 6 and a 6, and against the right-hander, that is going to be a skinny double. And instead, it'll be a fly out to center field, so the inning is over. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Our score: Cooperstown Misfits 14, Ebony Elites 5. And Hank Greenberg will lead it off. Greenberg, one of the greatest power first basemen in history, and just had the misfortune. First base is a loaded position for the AL. Lou Gehrig and Jimmy Fox graded out ahead of him and made the best of the American League Hall of Famers, the Diamond Kings. So Greenberg relegated to this squad, has a good day. He has walked twice. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly and singled. He's also scored 3 runs. Day to Greenberg. And 3 and a 7, righty-righty matchup. And Greenberg's going to draw yet another walk. You have got to be at 8 or 9 walks now for this Misfits team. And that's been the problem all day for the Satchel Paige's team. They have not been able to find the strike zone. 1 and a 2 to Mick. And against the righty, that's going to be a ground ball down to first base. That's going to get Greenberg over to second. As Suttles takes that unassisted, 1 down. Charlie Gehringer up now, 2 and a 5. And Gehringer, single, runners advance 2, and they are not done yet as Greenberg comes around to score. That makes it 15-5. Lead back up to double digits. No mercy rule, unfortunately. Roy Campanella up, 1 and an 8. And Campy, that's going to be a double. Runners advance 2. So it does not matter who is on the hill for the Elites. The Cooperstown Misfits are getting to them, and this one has long been ugly. Potential wild pitch there. And Leon Day is only a 1, so nothing there. The at-bat continues. 3 and a 4 to Kell. That's going to be a ground ball down to third base, and runners are going to hold on that. Well, let me check. Yep, runners are going to hold and over to first base. So 5-3 on the putout and 2 down. Old aches and pains, Luke Appling up. Day the pitch, 4-8, and struck him out. So Day ends the inning there, but 2 more hits and another run. We're through 7. It's 15-5 now. Cooperstown Misfits up. And Gibby, he's going to stay on the mound here. And his point of weakness is 9, so I'm just going to ride him out. Josh Gibson, he has been the lone bright spot for the Elites today, has driven in 3 runs with a pair of home runs, scored 3 runs as well. And 5 and 5, and Gibby wants to keep him off of his card, but he's still going to give up a hit to him. That's a double. So Gibson's second double of the day as well. Makes Josh 4 for 4. And he is definitely living up to the hype. Turkey Stearns up, 2 and a 7. And Stearns, it's going to be a triple. So Gibson comes around to score his 4th run of the day. It's 15-6 now as Stearns ends up at third. And we're going to close the book on Gibby there. 7 innings. 11 hits and 6 runs and counting. Gibson walked 1, 2, Gibby walked 2 and struck out 5, 6. And gave up a pair of home runs, and that will bring in Bob Lemon, who made this team out of the pen. He was a mainstay of some of those great Indians pitching staffs, along with Bob Feller. And his hold is a -1. So steal adjustment -4 now. All right, and the first batter he will face is going to be Judy Johnson. Turkey Stearns down at third base, and Lemon to Johnson. And 3 and 11 against the righty. That's going to be a ground ball down to second base, and that's going to bring a run home. So 15-7 now, and 4-3 on the putout. And that closes the book on Gibson. So 7 runs given up for Gibby. Did expect some offense with these 2 teams playing, and they have not failed to disappoint. 2 and a 7 now to Buck Leonard, and Leonard, it's going to be a fly ball to center field, and Chris Speaker camps under that, puts it away, 2 down. Lemon comes home, 4 and a 6 to Pop Lloyd against the lefty, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. Gehringer 1 and 11. And gets to that, an 11 and 11 at second base and makes the play. So that ends the inning, but a couple more hits and 2 more runs for the Ebony Elites, and we are heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Our score is Cooperstown Misfits 15, Ebony Elites 7. And top of the order now, Leon Day to face Tris Speaker. And 2 and a 7 to Spoke, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. Charleston puts that away. 1 down. Harry Hillman up. And 6-9 to the righty, and that's going to be a walk. And we're definitely, I know, in double figures now. Bases on balls will kill you, and that has been the story of this one. Al Simmons steps in, 2 and a 3 against the right-hander. That's going to be a foul out to third base. So old Bucketfoot goes down, 2 away, and Hank Greenberg up. Pitch to Greenberg, 4 and a 7, and walks him as well. Unbelievable. So Mickey Mantle up and possible wild pitch. And again, Day is a 1, but of course he rolls it, so over to second and third. That's just been the story of this game. At bat continues. Mickey, 3 and a 9. 3 and a 9 and real skinny triple. And that's going to be a fly out to center field instead as the Fleet Oscar Charleston runs that down. So they avoid anything else being added on. And we head to the top of the 9th, last chance. And just in case, Chief Bender's going to start loosening up in the Cooperstown Misfits bullpen, as Willie Wells set to lead it off against Lemon. Of course, my house rule, I have to warm up for at least 2 batters. 5 and an 8 against the righty. It's going to be a fly ball to left field, 1 down. Back to the top of the order. Cool Papa Bell, he's 2 for 4. 6 and a 9 against the switch hitter and struck him out. So Lemon, a big K there. And 1 out away for putting this one on ice. The door is barred, the lights are off, it is all but over. The pitch, 1 and a 9 to Oscar Charleston. And that'll do her. Ground ball down to second base. Gehringer whips it over to first base. Greenberg squeezes it. And 3 up, 3 down in the 9th. And this one is in the books, so a very inauspicious beginning for the vaunted Ebony Elites, the Satchel Paige traveling all-stars, if you will. So our final score, Cooperstown Misfits 15, Ebony Elites 7, and let's just add up the line scores real quick here. For the Misfits, really a lot of hits, but not as many as you would think because they drew so many walks today. 15 runs on actually only 14 hits, no errors. And the Ebony Elites got 7 runs on 11 hits, and they committed 2 errors, which of course hurt them. And player of the game, if you could go with the losing team, it would definitely be Josh Gibson, 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 ribbies, and 4 runs scored, a couple of doubles, but it's not how this works. So looking at the winning team, I've got to go with Charlie Gehringer. Gehringer today had a good day. He hit 3/4 of the cycle, went 4 for 5, 2 singles, a double, and a triple, and he pretty much was coming up every time with runners in scoring position and did not disappoint as he drove in 7 runs. So Gehringer is our player of the game. And Game 2, the Satchel Paige's team will definitely be looking for some revenge. And the pitching matchup in that one will be Bullet Joe Rogan against Big Ed Walsh. So that should be another good matchup, which will hopefully pan out better than this softball game. So again, thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up, and if you have any comments, things you'd like to see, please feel free to add those. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep rolling for the fences. Have a great day.